She is one of the world's foremost animal experts, a woman who has spent the best part of her life studying man's closest animal relation. Jane Goodall's dedication to the plight of the chimpanzee is as well known as the efforts of the late Dian Fossey to save Africa's mountain gorilla. But in the last decade, Goodall has branched out with an environmental program designed to save more than just her beloved chimps. Susan Yu met Goodall in Hong Kong to find out more.
There are fewer and fewer places now which they're becoming more and more isolated, and the boundaries between areas which are coming into the area of development and developed areas and which are preserved areas are becoming much more sharp. So there are very few buffer areas between the two.
The economic incentive is very high. Now our allocations are limited and we don't have the capacity today to combat professional smugglers or poachers.
We have built so many dams in the 70s and 80s in Thailand that the country will never be the same, and in the next few decades we'll probably have to be thinking how to destroy these dams.
Perhaps nowhere else in the world has biodiversity been under so much threat than in Asia. 2/3 of the region's wildlife habitat has been destroyed in the last 50 years, mainly due to exploitation by humans.
Monuments are living history, and so are forests, so are lakes, so are birds and natural wildlife. And they change the way whole people live. The experiences I've grown up with was walking in the rich forest in Delhi. Completely shaped my life. And the reason I'm doing environmental work today is largely an outcome of the kind of times I spent with nature when I was very young.
And reaching the young and uneducated is the aim for world-renowned primate researcher Dr. Jane Goodall. After spending more than 4 decades out in the field observing the behavior of chimpanzees in Africa, she's taking up a new campaign. That's to try to help preserve and protect the world's natural resources.
Goodall's campaign was born from her own experience in trying to protect the primates' habitat in East Africa, which was slowly being encroached by development. In 1990, she decided to take her work from the jungles of Tanzania to classrooms across the African continent.
Suddenly realized that the young people were really keen to learn about animals and the environment, but they weren't having any opportunity in their schools. So it started at small after-school groups in 9 different schools, and it's been absolutely incredible how from 1991 to now, we're now in 68 countries with over 4,000 groups.
What Goodall started was a project to inspire youngsters and educators to be proactive about protecting nature, whether it was recycling waste or safeguarding the welfare of animals. Her Roots and Shoots program has been in place in Africa for more than a decade now, and it's just starting to make inroads in Asia.
I think my mission in Asia is to help those who are struggling to raise environmental awareness and to help people from children up through politicians understand how interconnected everything is.
The soft-spoken Goodall acknowledges that challenges abound in Asia. There's illegal logging, the illicit trade in animal parts, and air and water pollution. Environmental concerns have taken a backseat to business interests, so Goodall is realistic about what Roots and Shoots can achieve in the region.
I've been to Cambodia, I've been to Indonesia, I'm about to go to India, but my way is not to go and work out what problems need solving. All I'm doing is saying, here's a program, it's worked in other countries. It's to give hope to youth. It's to help them to become informed and empower them to take positive action to make their world a better place.
So far, the Jane Goodall Institute's Roots and Shoots program is in place in Taiwan, Singapore, and China, a country that some say faces the biggest environmental hurdles.
I had a meeting with the Vice Minister for the Environment, and he was really interested in the Roots and Shoots program. And we sort of broke the ice because I demonstrated to him how a female chimpanzee would greet a high-ranking male, and he found this very amusing. So our 10-minute meeting stretched into 1.5 hours.
That meeting resulted in China allowing the program to be incorporated in more than 100 schools. The Jane Goodall Institute now hopes to get Japan, Thailand, the Philippines, Cambodia, and Hong Kong to become part of its Roots and Shoots footprint. And it's school-to-school presentations like these that Goodall hopes will convince youngsters to get involved.
I think it's a good program. It can teach us how to respect and protect the environment. Understanding her experience with chimpanzees will help too.
It's meaningful because we can learn how to help preserve and protect the environment.
Well, around the school where I work at, it's surrounded by concrete buildings everywhere. There's very few plants or trees or animals that the kids have any contact with at any time, like including like even plants or animals. So yeah, it's definitely lacking like just hands-on experience.
Obviously in different places you get slightly different issues, like in a big city the issues will be very different. The kids will be recycling and trying to plant trees in the city, bring some greenness into their urban life. And the kind of human problems they're dealing with will be different to those that are developed by kids in a very rural area, where they'll be doing massive tree planting and learning about ways of watering and farming that are more suitable for the land, and perhaps have more interaction with the natural world that they're trying to preserve.
It took Goodall 42 years to understand her beloved primates and how precarious their existence has become. So it will take some time and patience for young people to understand how fragile nature is and what's needed to protect it for the future.